Okay.
So Myers our tight end.
So just reviewing the lineup we built so far, we've got O'Connell, cheap, 4,700 at the quarterback. We got, how pronounce that name? Is it Pacheco?
Pacheco.
Okay. Paired with the Chiefs D, we've got Adams paired with O'Connell, and we're running Meyer, whatever, paired. So that's going to leave us plenty. We got 64.75 to play around with. We got a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex spot to fill. I keep hearing the name Tyreek Hill from everybody as a must play.
I mean, it's hard to not want to ever play Tyreek.
I did the wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I did the wrong slate here, so I got to go back to Ray's league. I was filling in our cash lineup slate.
So if we put in Tyreek Hill, we could go with the old Zach Evans, and then still have 62.50 with the wide receiver spot, and then our flex spot.
Let me catch up here. I got to get our lineup. I was in the wrong slate, so.
Let me ask you this. We do get to play the Monday night game as well.
Right.
Last week, we were all over KJ Osborne because he was so cheap.
Yep.
And there was no Jefferson, right?
Right.
He's still the same price.
And now, did Addison get banged up, or am I making that up?
Let's look up Addison. I don't know. I think he's okay.
He's playing.
I think he's okay. He's cheap. I'm just throwing names out there.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
So, Ty, did we put Hill? We put Hill in, right?
Yep.
Are we going to try Evans?
I mean, you kind of sold me on it with 4,000. Feels like he could do it, and then we put Tyreek Hill and Osborne, and then we could still fit in like a AJ Brown.
I like AJ Brown.
What about spending up a little bit more from the chalky Evans and going like Jerome Ford from the Browns?
Ford is a player that Line Star, who is a tool that I often use, loves this week.
Kareem Hunt is projected to be out. He got 17 carries last week against the Niners.
He's going to be out? Wow.
He's projected to be out. 5,100, so he's not the stone min, but he's very inexpensive still.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's the only guy, I don't know. Against Indianapolis, I don't mind that play.
I don't mind it
I
at
think
all.
it's definitely a safer floor than Evans, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, like we talked about a little bit pre-show, they're bringing in all kinds of running backs to support Evans, right?
Yep.
Where Ford, I don't know that there is anybody.
No, I don't think so. Not any direct competition, I should say.
And do we like the Osborne play?
Well, I was throwing it out there, kind of. It was something I was looking at.
You know who Curtis Samuel is somebody that I feel like doesn't get at 4K doesn't get as much attention as he deserves, and then chalky Wandale Robinson this week is 3,800. That gives us even a little that opens up Mostert, Nakua. What do you guys think about those guys?
I would play Curtis Samuel. I've kind of been on him this week. So with what we have,
he's a little bit more expensive.
But we'd still be able to play like a Josh Jacobs, a Kenneth Walker.
I have no interest in playing Josh Jacobs. Do you guys?
I mean, I do. It's against Chicago.
Yeah, but he's still. I mean, I guess he just. I'm not giga stacking Las Vegas. So if we're playing Josh Jacobs, I'm not playing Meyer, Adams.
So I like Walker too.
I love Walker. At 7K.
7K. He's gotten a touchdown every week so far, except for week 5.
I don't mind Walker. That leaves us a little bit more salary. Not that we need it. I guess what is our favorite junky wide receiver play this week?
I'm going to throw a name out here, guys, that it kind of makes me throw up a little bit. But, last week I think some really good lineups had double tight ends. And this week there's just not a lot of, great plays, and like Trey McBride for Arizona. I mean, he's getting more and more involved. He got 5 targets last week, 3 the week before. It seems like they're kind of fading Ertz out a little bit.
He's cheap as shit.
He's 2,600. I mean, it almost gets us to Stephon Diggs, who I really kind of like this week. But then we've got Keenan Allen and Amon-Ra and even AJ. In that Philly game, we could run it back, and then we'd have some money to kind of play with.
Jared definitely wanted to play Hill and Brown. We play Adams, Hill, and Brown. That's not, that gives us, opens up. We can go up to Brian Robinson Jr. at running back. Stevenson, who's projecting well this week. Madison, if we wanted.
I'm even looking in the $3,600 range, like who would be available.
If we did what now?
If we took McBride out, let's say, right? So we're left with 3,500.
If we went who?
If we took Trey McBride out at the flex,
And played who, though?
AJ Brown.
Oh, play A.J. Brown at a wide receiver spot.
Instead of St. Brown.
Yeah,
Okay.
because now we're kind of getting a little bit heavy on that Miami Philly game, which I don't mind, right? Because I like that game. It's probably the best game to play this week, and we're getting arguably the 2 best receivers in that game.
By the way, that's who I played.
And then who was the other running back that you had, Juice?
Pacheco and Ford.
Okay, Ford.
And so now we're kind of left in that $3,500 range, and there's Sky Moore, there's Rondale Moore, there's Musgrave, who's projected to be okay at tight end this week as well.
Let me catch up. So I put A.J. Brown in our lineup. I got Adams. Are we still open at running back and flex, or did we put somebody in?
We
Pacheco
kept
and
Ford in.
Ford. Okay. I like Ford.
And so we got 3,500 at the flex.
Could also roll the dice and plug in one newly traded for McCole Hardman Jr.
Is he 3,500?
He's 3,200.
Wow. I wish we could play either Wandell Robinson or Curtis Samuel because I like both of them this week, but they're just a little too expensive. We can't even get up to 35 is hard. We admit that, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I
like our wide receivers. Do you want to try going back down to Evans off of Ford?
Let's see what Evans does.
Let's see what Evans opens up. That gives us 4,600.
We've got Osborne,
Which we liked Osborne.
Downs.
I like both. I like Downs and Osborne better than anybody else. I'd rather play Osborne. I think they both have tough matchups.
So Osborne had 5 targets, caught 4 of them for 48 yards. Downs, I think, had another high targeted week. He had 8 targets, and he had touchdown, 5 receptions for only 21 yards. But yeah, and the matchup is hard.
So what do we think? We got Aaron O'Connell, Zach Evans, Pacheco, Adams, Brown, Hill, Meyer, and we're missing a piece that
I just don't love anyone in the $4,500 range.
I don't love. Yeah.
I'd almost rather spend down.
Do we have?
Unless, let's see, another name I keep hearing a little bit is Jaylen Warren for Pittsburgh.
Ooh, that'd be a tough button to press.
It would be.
He's 5,000, yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with going back to the tight end that you mentioned.
Which
and
McBride?
McBride.
Or we could do Musgrave.
Both of them are projecting well this week. Musgrave
I think Musgrave might be a little safer.
He's got a good matchup.
So Musgrave, and then that leaves us $200 left, but we don't have to spend that.
No.
And that's with Ford in the lineup?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this.
It's stars and scrubs, right? We got 3 really good wide receivers.
3 stud wide receivers, 2 good running backs, O'Connell.
I think 2 running backs that are going to get plenty of volume. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then 2 tight ends that have the potential to do something, especially
well
at their
priced.
salary price.
Both of them are
Yep.
well priced this week.
And then the Chiefs. I like it.
What do you think, Juice?
It's not the funnest lineup to build, but it is what it is this week, right? I mean,
Maybe this is the week that we win.
maybe somebody's
Or-
gonna win.
All right,
Yeah.
if we play this lineup,
I mean, I don't. I like this one. I like the last one we built, but they're just after doing some research, I thought,
Stuff happens on Sundays
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like, there's news that a lot of time between now and Sunday.
well, I locked it in.
Just for quick fun here, let's do a few. Let's do some. Who do you get? We played a low level quarterback. If you were playing an upper level quarterback, who would you play this week?
I would play Hurts.
That's who I'm playing.
I'll be honest. The rest of the guys, I don't love quarterback this week.
No, Mahomes isn't putting up the numbers that
Not for 8,300.
yeah, not that his price
He's
is.
pretty expensive. I do think that he's probably going to have a good week against the Chargers, though. I mean, he still threw for 300 yards against Denver last week.
He does,
but
Jared. But I mean, he's only gone over 25 points like twice.
Yeah.
Like, and he's been at 25. So, like, okay, he gets me 25. Does that absolutely murder me?
No.
No, it doesn't. Herbert's been sort of hit and miss.
What about Lamar Jackson? He's playing against a tough Detroit D. We didn't mention him much.
A lot of people like him. A lot of people like him this week. I've been hearing his name kind of buzz, but he's had a couple good weeks and then sort of subpar. Geno Smith is another name people have been throwing out a lot just because he's playing against Arizona.
Right. Upper level running back seems to be kind of hard to jump into. We didn't talk about Mostert. He's on our slate. I'm never playing. McCaffrey's banged up. He's on the Monday night game. Eckler is a tough play right now. Barkley is a tough play right now. I can't believe Barkley cost $8,100.
I mean, if you watched last week, they
How is Mostert cheaper than Barkley?
It's the algorithm.
I don't know. But I think Barkley's due for a big game.
I'm not
And-
playing Bijan Robinson anymore. I'm just done. I've played him 2 weeks in a row, thinking that I'm so much smarter. This is going to be it this week. He's going to bounce back. The running back value seems to be in the cheaper levels, right?
I do like Kenneth Walker the third again.
I do.
Yeah,
He's in a good
I
matchup.
like Walker.
He's a little more expensive than he used to be,
He just seems like a solid play.
right?
Yeah, with the high floor.
Wide receiver playing. Who you're going to play at wide receiver this week? I think obvious is the winner. I mean, they seem to be the point producers. We haven't pressed many Diggs buttons. We play a lot of Hill. What do you guys think about Kupp coming back and already going to 9,500 after 2 weeks?
I think it's crazy, but it's fairly warranted.
Yeah.
And then you've got Nakua at 7,600. I mean, do you think they can keep up their fantasy rates? Or what do you
I think Nakul will definitely have a better week than he had last week. He actually dropped a 35-yard touchdown.
Nakua did? Oh,
Nakua
wow.
did last week.
I'm convinced Jared is Puka Nakua's PR man.
He is.
Like
I
it's-
mean,
I like
time.
Puka Nakua.
what about any cheap plays that we didn't discuss? We discussed a lot of them because we were looking for one. We discussed like Osborne and Downs. What about in the 5,000 range? What receiver you guys liking this week?
Everyone seems really high on Zay Flowers, and I don't see it. I think he's safe, but I don't see him exploding. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I like Marquise Brown a lot. He's playing against the Seahawks. It's a bad matchup. It's a good matchup for him. The last 3 weeks, he's had 11, 10, and 10 targets.
What is he up to?
He's only
price-wise?
$5,300.
They just
Marquise
don't-
Brown.
They don't seem to want to move him up, do they?
My biggest issue with him though is just Dobbs is looking worse and worse as the season goes on. That's sort of the only thing I would say. But you're right; he's getting a lot of looks. Christian Watson is somewhat cheap.
He's hard to play too, man.
He is hard to play, but man, against Denver,
Yeah.
Denver
know?
seems to be
team you can pick on.
with the fantasy point. What about, we talked about a lot of cheap tight ends. Any thoughts of playing up at tight end this week? Hawkinson's a tough matchup. Kelsey's got a pretty good matchup, though they ranked pretty high against defending the tight end. Andrews seems to have a good matchup. Where are you guys at tight end that we didn't discuss?
I think George Kittle is going to have a good game against
Man,
Minnesota.
the roller coaster, George Kittle.
Yeah, I know it's like very, very lopsided. I mean, it's like either you get it or you get nothing at all.
How have you? He's got a game where he scored 3 touchdowns and he only averages 9 points a game. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Anybody else that we haven't talked about that you like? Kyle Pitts is kind of on a little comeback trail.
I like Pitts.
little
He's
bit,
4,000. I like him.
Musgrave has got a good matchup. Well, guys, any other thoughts? Let's do freak of the slate breaker, freak of the week, whatever you want to call it. Best fantasy play of the
you
week.
know what? I do want to call one guy out
Okay.
because I feel like I had 100% of him last week, and he just totally shit the bed.
Who's that?
Who was it?
Logan Thomas.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
waiting.
yeah.
Dude,
that
I mean,
sucked.
like he 2 targets, 1 catch for like a yard or something. I mean, it was like,
I didn't even mention his name this week. I'm like, no.
I mean,
not
he's
good.
dead to me, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it was bad.
he was so bad. But he's like in a decent matchup this week, but I just can't click his name. Anyway, sorry. I just had to vent a little bit on that one.
Yeah, I
Well-
played him too.
Okay, let's do slate breakers, freak of the week, whatever you want to call it. Bust out guy, top fantasy producer, no matter the position. Give it to me, Jared. It won't be Puka Nacua this week, you're guessing, right?
Nope. It's going to be still an obvious one, and that is old Travis Kelce.
You think, oh, wow, slate breaker, top fantasy producer. Huh?
Yeah, I think his price is worth it, and I think he'll probably get a touchdown with several targets.
Not a bad call.
I don't know where to go. I think I'm definitely going to go with one of the wide receivers. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. If Devontae Smith is really banged up, I just feel like they're going to feed him. Miami has a decent defense, but they seem to allow good teams to produce points. So I'm going A.J. Brown.
And it is what the highest projected scoring game on the week too. So I mean,
It is.
So
I mean, I don't want to say anyone on our team because I think obviously we're playing them, so we think they're going to do well. But I loved what I saw from Amon-Ra St. Brown last week. I watched that game. He looks 100% back, healthy.
he does.
Baltimore just seems like at Baltimore. If it was Detroit playing Baltimore at Detroit, he just seems to kind of quiet down on road games a little bit.
Well, last week he was on the road at Tampa Bay and he had 15 targets
That's
and 12
true.
catches for 124 yards.
Well,
So
Did he get a touchdown? I think he got a
You're
touchdown.
right, Matt. I mean, like that's been kind of one of the things about Jared Goff is he doesn't seem to do it on the road, but they look like a completely better team this year.
They do.
So I think that narrative is sort of like fading a little bit.
St.
for me.
Brown seems healthy, which it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah, he
keep him
does.
healthy.
Yeah,
I like
so-
St. Brown.
I do too.
Okay, guys, I'm going to hit the button. We're going to get out of here. Good show. Little good luck us. We need all 3 of us could use a high finish.
Yep.
But any last final thoughts?
I think that's it.
I'm going to hit
That's all
the
I
button.
got.
Juice, you got anything?
Nah, man.
Well, it's going. I just